Hi everyone. So this is my last week's review of the trading that we did. I took 3 trades. Two were break evens and one trade was a loss. So I landed with the minus zero point 0.5 R. Each of my trades a 0.5 R. So I made 2 break evens that was 0 R and one loss which was minus zero point 0.5 R. So this is one of the first trades I want to show you. On for this trade, let me expand the higher time frame. This is the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, there was an order block that had got created, and my intention was to get the retest of the order block and trade on the lower time frame. Let's see how this panned out on the lower time frame. All right, so when I got the trade alert, this was on 30 minutes. When I got the trade alert, it looked something like this. I was late to this trade. Obviously, um, the trade should have been taken here, but I think this was I wasn't at my computer, so I when I got to this trade, it was here. Almost an hour had passed by that time. So I took an entry on this next candle, in this candle using this zone, and my plan was to take 50% off here and leave the rest of the trade running. So basically make the trade risk free at this point. And just playing this trade out, I got an entry, got a very good start, and the price hit 1 hour here where I extracted 50% volume. This is where my trade became break even. Something that I should have done is, you can clearly see that on the higher time frame here, this trade is opposite to the current order flow, so it's a reversal. I should have moved my stop loss sooner because this is a reversal trade against the trend. And once this R was hit here on the lower time frame, I should have moved my stop loss here. At that time I did not. My stop loss was still here, and then you all know what happened. Price just came running down and took out my stop loss. So at this point, I had exited the trade with 0 R. So in hindsight, I could have moved my stop loss sooner, considering this was a counter trend trade over here. But nevertheless, I didn't do it, and this was a 0 R break even trade. The next trade I want to show you is on odd CHF. This was on 1 week as a higher time frame and 1 hour H as a lower time frame. Let me find the trade. Give me a second. Yep. So my plan was that, let me show the higher time frame first. So my plan was that price was heading into this higher time frame historical order block, which had been created in November, on November 1st last year. As you can see, the weekly price was heading in here, and obviously my plan was to trade the reversal from up here. And this was again a counter trend trade. I should have kept that in mind, which obviously I did not, and you'll see how that challenged me over time. So the first trade came first. Notification on Discord came for this signal. I wasn't around. I didn't trade this signal. Obviously, this would have been a beautiful win. So I didn't trade this signal. Then later, another alert came in for this signal, where, running back the time, this is how it looked like. and it was a pretty good setup. It had taken out liquidity here. It was making bearish structures, creating displacement, creating breakup structure over here as well. So it was a good setup, and I obviously then set up an entry. This was not the best thing because obviously this is the most premium area to take the trade from, and I was taking this trade over here. So if I just expand this, let me sync this in. You can see, I don't know if it will be visible. Let me actually draw a line here. I think that'll be much easier to see. You can see that the rejection started up here. So this rejection started up here, which is the most premium part to take the trade from. But I took this trade from over here where this blue line is. So not the best area, but nevertheless, since I didn't take the first trade, I didn't take this signal. So obviously this was the next best place for me to get in. So I set up my entry here, stop loss here, and my plan was to basically take 50% off at 1 hour and then keep trailing down. Obviously that didn't play out as expected. This was a break-even trade. So no entry yet. I was still waiting. This is where I was triggered into entry on this blue candle with my limit order, and immediately, I think within the next 3 or 4 hours, I got 1 hour hit over here where I extracted 50% volume using a limit order, and this trade was break even. And as I was saying previously, that considering this is a counter trend trade, I should have taken profit or should have moved my stop loss to break even, which I did not. And you all know how the story plays out from there. Did not go below that point and then took out my stop loss. So because of my risk management strategy, this was a break-even trade. Could have been a profitable 0.5 hour, but nevertheless, no pain, no gain. Let's show you the next one, which was GBP USD. Most of these trades this week were counter trade, I think, and I think this is one of the things I'll show in my retro later in the notes as well. In an environment like today where there's so much one timing happening in the market, where all of the time frames are practically moving in the same direction, counter trend trading is maybe not the best thing to do. That's good learning for next time. Alright, nevertheless, so you can see like this has been falling from last 3 weeks straight ever since the attack on Ukraine started. In this trade, again, this was an order block that GBP USD was running into, and my plan was to basically trade a bounce up from here, from this historical order block. Let's look at the lower time frame, how this panned out. So when I got this signal, this is how it had been looking, where the last push down was broken up by this bullish blue candle. It had taken out liquidity as well. You can see all of these liquidity reference points. So I created my zone like this, set up my limit entry here, and my stop loss over here. My plan was to again take first exit over at this location and then trail it up for 3 hours. Obviously, this was again a counter trend trade, and GBP versus USD, I should have thought about it ahead of time. USD is in demand right now. Nobody wants to touch euros, so obviously GBP is going to sell off. And you can see I got brutally punished by the market for that. There is not even a single, I think, pip properly that it moved in my direction, and then price just fell through. And then not only that, it just kept going down. Um, so these were the three trades that I took. This was a complete loss. I had no chance to take out any partial here. These were the three trades I took, and ended with a minus 0.5 R for the week, 2 break evens and 1 loss. My every trade that I take is a 0.5 R these days, so that's how the calculation is. I've been doing some retro on how can I improve my entries. I think we now have a great system to understand how to take higher time frame bias and trade with it. But I think what the system needs improvement is on how do we decide lower time frame entries and how to take them. I'm doing some very interesting research this week, and I'm going to try it out next week. And if this works, I'll definitely share with everyone. All right, everyone. Next week is starting up. Trade safe and good luck. Take care.